Katie, in just a minute, we're going to have you jump in and do a little tech minute. Just so everybody knows, we're getting everybody responses in for this poll. Thank you for doing this, guys. So that's the agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about these items here, talk about some trainings that we want to make sure that we're implementing so you guys can get some feedback, or we could get some feedback so we can get you training that you need. Katie's going to do a tech minute. We're going to do a little breakout, a fun little Zoom breakout where we'll break out into certain groups and talk about Red Day, because Red Day is coming up next month and we have some really cool things planned. So thank you to Julia and Shauna, and I think Candace Cather should be jumping on here soon. We'll break off into little groups and they will talk to everybody about what we're going to be doing for Red Day, because I'm super excited about it. It'll be fun. 28 out of 40 of you have voted. So if you haven't voted yet, make sure you're voting. What else? Does anybody, let's do some wins. Anybody get some participation in here, some wins that you've had over the last week?
So Amy put a buyer under contract. Woohoo, cash buyer. I put a buyer under contract and I took 2 new listings.
Nice, well done.
Doing stuff.
Yay.
I have some first-time home buyers that were finally able to buy something, and we closed on their home yesterday, and to see that excitement in their eyes was like nothing other. It was amazing. So that was really cool. And I also have a new listing that just hit the market. So yeah.
Yeah, we're rolling.
I've had a pretty busy couple weeks. Put a $1.1 million house under contract. I've got a $525,000 house closing at the end of next week, and got 3 new listings. So yeah, it's been busy.
Nice, well done.
I have some new buyers, showing them houses this afternoon, and yeah, just keeping busy.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a big spike in pendings. Is that what you guys are seeing, that buyers are coming back through and people are putting homes under contract?
Yeah, the board did too yesterday. They posted today. They had 36 new contracts yesterday.
Nice.
Wow.
Are you guys seeing those posts that we're posting up? Katie, I think Katie's still posting it in the Facebook group of the activity that we're getting.
Yeah, that's great information to share with your clients.
Yep.
I like to put them on a weekly kind of a drip and just show those things as they come out.
Yep. What are you guys doing to update your clients on changes in the market?
I've been sending out emails and Facebook posts.
Nice. Are you doing just because I know you've done a bunch of fun stuff, Lance? Are you doing mainly just graphic stuff, like infographic stuff, or are you doing just simple?
I've been doing videos, email videos, bomb, and then I've been doing graphs and videos on Facebook, and to my sphere, to potential leads, and of course to the general public in Facebook land. So
yeah, in Facebook land. Yeah, it seems like that's been the main source of lead generation because everything's been kind of closed down. I drive around St. George though, and I haven't seen anybody not out. Everybody's out. Has anybody been door knocking or holding open houses? What's the feedback there?
I'm doing the virtual open houses on Facebook. So I go out to the homes and do the walkthrough for them. That's been turning out pretty well.
Colette's doing calling and mailing greeting cards to the SOI. Cindy, she listed 2 lots, both under contract, new listing yesterday and another one coming up. She's rolling. Mason, well done. First buyer deal, got his commission today. Congrats, man.
Yay.
That's really good. So Holly, the virtual, I'm sorry, I'm having somebody trying to get in and they're having a hard time.
I think it's Sally. She can't get in.
She has to register first.
Yeah, I don't know how to, because everybody's got to register. So I know a lot of people are having trouble because it's not, having to register is causing some issues.
It wasn't on the email, so you need to go to your Facebook click on calendar and make sure you register, then you get let in automatically.
Interesting. Okay. Meeting ID is what they're asking for. Sorry. Trying to multitask so I can get everybody in here. We also had a listing closed today and getting ready to put another buyer under contract, hopefully by the end of the week. That's Jamie Archibald. Well done. Cassie Anderson. Hey, thanks for being on, Cassie. Looks like we got 2 listings last week under contract. Yes. It is very confusing how to get here, but she made it here. Let me see what this does. Sorry, guys. I'm going to actually share our results from our poll. You guys want to see that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Have everybody look at that. Can you all see that? Yeah? No? Bueller?
Yep. I
Yeah,
see
we
it.
can see it.
What do you guys think about that? Looks like everybody's pretty much everybody's optimistic. A couple people are unsure. Still, who's unsure? Who from the unsure wants to pipe up? There's only 3 of you.
Well, I did that, but I posted it because that's how I feel. I mean, I'm optimistic, but cautiously optimistic. I got to quit watching the news.
I did. I stopped watching the news.
That's not a bad idea, because they think they know what they're doing, but nobody knows. And but everybody has something to say about as soon as you make a comment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Okay, and then what training do we need? So mindset training and command tech training. So this is what we keep hearing, is these are the 2 things that people are wanting and needing the most. Who wants to elaborate on mindset training?
I will.
Let's hear it.
So I think with everything going on and buyers and sellers trying to tell us why they don't want to proceed, when you get told that over and over, it messes with your mindset. You know, you start getting that negative feeling in you. And I think just to keep us positive and keep us looking forward, and the responses that we should have would help us a lot.
Yeah. That it's almost like calling for sale by owners and expireds all the time, right? You get so used to hearing the same thing over and over. It's almost exhausting. You're like, just wait till this thing stops and then I can go back at it. Is that what some people are thinking?
Yeah. But the buyers, I think it's easier to convince the buyers to move forward than it is the sellers, just because the interest rates are so good and you can use that as a tool.
Yeah.
You know, take advantage of those interest rates while they're so low. The sellers, on the other hand, it's, you know, letting people in and out of their house, and what's the market? Am I going to be able to sell it? All of that, overcoming that. But, you know, I'm still doing business as usual. So I don't know. I've had some people hesitate, but I've always been able to sway them.
Yeah. Well, so who else has some thoughts around mindset? What are we struggling with? Julia?
I think if you're like Dave and me and you're watching a lot of news, we can get bombarded with all of this outside noise. And I think that every day I have to go back to, what are my goals? What am I looking to do? Where am I at in my own life and business? And not let all the other noise get in my head, because that could really pull me down. It's kind of like what Kathy was saying, hearing no and no and no over and over again. But I think that if we all get into really good habits about affirmations and mindset and getting back on track with what your goals are and what are you doing, what is your purpose today, I think that that will really help a lot of us. I know that it helps me, especially when I start getting boggled down with all of that noise and I start getting stressed out about, you know, what does the future hold for us? I got to go back to what does today hold for me? What can I actually accomplish today and not get too ahead of myself as well?
Yeah. Who else is having not knowing what to do? They're having some mindset that they're like, I don't know what to do. Because for me, this is what happens to me. I lay down, I go to bed, and I'm like, I'm gonna do these 5 things tomorrow. I know I didn't do them today, but I swear I'm gonna do them tomorrow. And it's gonna be my main focus, and it's gonna be the first thing I do. I know to eat my big frog first because it's gonna make my day the rest of the way. And then you get into the office or you get sat down to work, and then you don't do that. And then all day long, you tell yourself you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, and then about 3:30 rolls around, and you're like, I'll just do it tomorrow. Who else does that? Lance has never done that, by the way. He raised his hand. I get just smiles. You guys, the microphones do work. I got Blake giving me claps. Thanks for the reaction, Blake. I like that. At least I know you're engaged. That's a mindset thing for me. Is that it's not that I don't. It's almost like when you know the answers and you're choosing not to do what you know needs to be done. That's what messes me up the most. And I know we all do it. That's the craziest thing. We all do that. Who is driving through that, and who's had moments where they're like, I crush it in some moments, and then other times I don't? Who's gone through that?
I'm going to say something.
I love when you say stuff.
Honestly, I had that miracle morning. I'm already a morning person to begin with, but that miracle morning has really made a big impact. And I have now created a miracle evening. Yes, I do. I have an amazing miracle evening every night, which just goes to my morning. And I'm going to say I'm crushing it. So yes, I have to fight with, you know, the same demons that we all do of self-motivation and all that. But honestly, it is working and I love it.
I love that. Who else uses the miracle morning? I don't know. I forget how to raise your hand. Does anybody know how to raise their hand? There's the reactions that are like thumbs up, or how about do the thumbs up in reactions, the bottom right. Who does the miracle morning, or who knows the miracle morning?
You don't know.
I don't know. Julia, some people, do you guys want to? Yeah. So if you don't know what the miracle morning is, it's based off of a book by Hal Elrod called The Miracle Morning. And actually, our team leader up in Midvale is actually wasn't our team leader. It was my coach, Patrick Woods, who's out of Elkwood, California. He's good friends with Hal Elrod. And I'm going to post in the chat box here the YouTube video where he interviewed him. It was actually really, really, really good. Great interview. Kind of makes Hal look like just like a normal guy, right? Because he's just like all of us. He deals with all of the same things that we've dealt with, and he continues to do it. He even was really honest about the fact that just recently he hasn't been doing his own formula with his own miracle morning. He has slipped and stopped doing it. So I'm gonna pull it. Oh yeah, right here. I gotta click watch now so I can get the link. It's about 58 minutes long. I really encourage you to watch it because it's not just about the miracle morning. It has some elements of his new book in there as well. So I really encourage you to do it. It has helped me. It's been my 66-day challenge. Candace was nice enough to make me a big long one, and I had it copied and then laminated. So I have a laminated version of it at my house. So I can go through and do a 66-day challenge on doing my miracle morning. And it really has the days that I do, at least 50% of it. I have great starts to my day. Everybody stumbles and everybody goes through it. But I know that over time, if I continue to get my mindset straight, understand that I'm going to hit a roadblock and I have to notice that it's a roadblock and bust through it so that I can do the things that I know I need to do to achieve the things that I need to achieve, right? So like that's that idea of you can never have what you've never had if you don't do what you've never done, right? You can never have what you've never had if you don't do what you've never done. So if your routine, because whether you like to admit it or not, you have a routine, it just might not be a good routine, right? Yes, Blake, I will. We can send out an email link. Did that not work? Blake, did that link work or no? Oh, it did. And I'll have them email it out as well, just because once this is over, if you guys want to come back to it, I'll send out the recording as well. But we have to do things that we've never done before to get what we've never had. And
Hey, Robert, you there?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, it's working fine. I'm just thinking if there's only 53 of us on the Zoom meeting,
Yeah.
and or if we wanted to find it later, once Zoom meetings are done, you really can't go back in and get that. But if it's an email, we can save that so that we can go back and back and back and kind of rewatch it as many times as we want. So.
Yep, I'll open up a window so I don't forget. Katie, will you remind me as well? So that being said, the mindset piece for me, I go through these things of like, I don't really need mindset training. I know what I should be doing. It's just whether or not I'm doing it or not. And something my coach actually put something into my head, and I'd be curious if you guys have these same mechanisms. Who's heard of tie downs? Who wants to tell me what a tie down is? George is in Florida, and he had to have this incredible background just to prove to us all that he's in Florida, just enjoying everything that Florida has to offer. He's sitting there with a smug smile on his face. Well done, man. I know Kim's there too. But what?
Yeah, he's a turd. We'll admit that.
He's not. What's the tie down?
She better be there.
Hold on. Wifey was saying something. Sorry. Never mind.
She's like, no, I don't want to say. What, Jamie, what's a tie down? Jamie put it in the chat box.
Something you latch down like a strap. You latch it down. Hold down a motorcycle, hold down a toy.
That is a form of a tie down, yes.
A tie down, Robert? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Daryl.
Something to the effect of committing them to a statement. So you like this house and you want to buy it. Isn't that right?
Yes, I do.
You want to write an offer today, correct?
Yes, I do.
Those would be tie downs.
Those are tie downs, right? So in scripting, we use tie downs. Well, there's also, yeah, go ahead.
Soft closes.
Yeah, soft closes. Basically, you're asking for the business as you go through, right? It's the same mechanism in those tie downs that we can use for ourselves. So I know a bunch of us have taken Bold, so I'm not going to ask who's taking Bold. But in Bold, every hour on the hour, everybody stands up and says, I am a great salesperson. I am a great salesperson. Julia yelled it at the top of her lungs. Avery's in the house like, what the hell? So I'm a great salesperson, and they use something to anchor that in your memory, right? So for me, it was spinning my wedding ring. Every time I got up, I'd say I'm a great salesperson 5 times, and I would spin my wedding ring. And I find myself anytime I'm spinning my wedding ring, I think that in my head, and it's a trigger in your mind to do these things. So in that mindset, going through these anchors is understanding what kind of a situation do you have to create to make you do something that you normally wouldn't do, right? It's a habit. It's a way of creating habits. And one thing that my coach opened my eyes to was, if I create a situation to where I have to act, I will act. But if I allow myself to not be obligated to do anything, I won't do it, right? And it's almost human nature in me is that even though I have a high drive personality type, if the choice was between going and doing a bunch of things, even if I love it or not, or maybe just kicking it on the couch, depending on the day, I might decide just to kick it on the couch, even though I have a lot of people relying on me to do things. My family relies on me to show up for work and make money. I want to accomplish projects and stuff like that, and sitting on the couch and playing Candy Crush is not the most effective use of my time, right? But I'll slide into that every once in a while. So what he's challenged me to do, and it's something I think I would challenge everybody else to do that's struggling with this mindset, is create a scenario where you have to show up. Does that make sense to anybody?
Yeah.
So what I would do, what I've been doing is I create a training, right? Maybe it's just a specific training, and I might not know anything about it, but I'm going to create the training, tell everybody on the planet about it. And I'm like, well, shit, I better figure out how to do this training. Because if I don't, I'm not going to push myself to do something And if a bunch of people are relying on me to go to that training, then I'm going to force myself to learn that idea, right? So if you go and you're like, I need a client event, I just don't know what to do. It's like, well, go tell everybody you're going to do a client event first. Like start from the end in mind, go create it first, and then figure it out, right? Because we all know everything is going to be messy. And McCrae, thanks for being on, McCrae. McCrae and I were actually talking about this a little bit the other day, is that a lot of us want to make something perfect before we send it out because we don't want to look stupid or we want it to really work at a high level. So we agonize over all the details instead of going after it and figuring it out as you go and being okay if the ball gets dropped a little bit here or there or it's not perfect, right? And in my position, we have 53 people on this call. If this training or if this team meeting was a flop, I'd have a bunch of people being like, man, what a jackass. That training was really worthless. And that little bit of fear is enough to drive me to show up with value, right? But that's my own hack. That's my own personality type, where some people get put into that situation and then it doesn't drive them, right? So potentially looking at what does make you tick, what makes you act. Think about the times where you've done something that you never thought you would do. What drove you to get there? And work it backwards and say, well, what did I do to get my mindset there? And how can I recreate that every time, right? So thinking of it from lead generation and calling your SOI, what is your fear really about? And what can calling that SOI make you do to act, right? What kind of situation can you create that will make you show up and do those things that you know you should be doing, but are talking yourself out of doing? Does that
Robert,
resonate with anybody?
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
We all learn by our mistakes, obviously, and that's what motivates me. I make way too many, but about 4 of the 5 pages of the rep sheet were created from lawsuits. So we started with a document that we thought would work, and then all of a sudden things were falling through the cracks, and many lawsuits were being filed, and we didn't have a way to cover ourselves. So and that's why they keep growing, because people keep suing and they don't like what they're doing or what they're being told. So I'm sure most of us are motivated when we screw up. You know, we're going to do that thing we screwed up on differently next time.
Yeah, I agree. Who else has some thoughts on that? Does that resonate with anybody? George?
It does resonate with me, my friend. And, you know, in my world right now, we're resetting. I mean, if you think about it, we're like, shit, everything happened all at once, you know, transition, people moving, and coronavirus, an empty office, and we pick up and we leave to reset. And I say that because everything I've heard this morning, it's a mindset, what we're doing. And for different personalities, and Robert has his demons and I have mine, and we all have our own demons right now. And our demons can push us one way or the other. And right now we have to hang true to ourselves and reset our business and separate our personal. And that is how I'm working with it. It's a reset in my business. Whatever I come back to, I'm going to be ready for whatever comes our way. But everyone's going to be buying, everyone's going to be selling. It's just going to be a fact. And there's the piece of the pie is going to get bigger or smaller. And we just have to continue to do our tasks every day. And my biggest fear is commitment. And I want to structure my day when I reset so that I'm not killing myself like I have for the last whatever years. I'm going to be 50 here. So I want to know how I want to see my real estate business going to be in the next 20 years of my life. So I think it's important for all of us to reset our business model, however way you want to work it, because it's going to change. However way you want to do it, you can slice the pie so many different ways, with water, with land, with commercial, with soon air rights, who knows? But I think all of us need to deep down inside need to figure out what we want to do in our business and how much time we want to spend in our business. And you can do it smart. You can bust out your day in 3 hours. But that 3 hours is going to create 4 hours tomorrow. So now you're at 7 hours, and it can build up craziness. So I think if we do little by little, we start with 1 hour and we work our way up to 2. And next thing you know, you're building your business back up. And it's starting from scratch. And that's how I'm doing it. I'm speaking for myself, and I want to share my thoughts with everyone else because we're all going through this right now. And for me, it's about reset. Boom. Reset.
That's that button, that reset button.
That reset button. And we're resetting. And I'm excited. This is new beginnings. And if you look at it in a positive way, I promise the sky's the limit. Like Miracle Morning, listening to you guys talk about that just put a smile on my face. I can't wait to go on Miracle Morning and listen what they have to say, because a piece of that pie then will help me with my business.
Yeah.
Anyways,
absolutely.
that's it. I'll shut up.
Thanks, man. No, I love the contribution. I'm gonna ask a follow-up question though. What's the challenges with a reset?
There's a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges, because a reset, you have to understand which direction the business is going and what you want.
And how do you determine which direction you're going?
By the amount of money I want to make.
You're looking at keeping the end in mind, right?
Absolutely.
If you keep the end in mind, you can figure out where you want to start. I'm going to ask the question. Let's see if I can ask the question in a little different way. What do you bring with you when you reset?
Experience, knowledge.
Mindset.
That same mindset, right? So we want to say that we have the reset button we hit, and it's like I have a table over here. I was just like wipe all the stuff off the table, and I'm like, I'm going to reset, right? But then I walk into the office and then there's stuff all over the floor, right? And so we think about that reset, and this isn't to challenge the idea, because I'm right there with you on understanding, when we talk about possibilities and that idea that we do get the opportunity to reset, but what we bring with us is some residual of our old self, right?
Totally.
And so sometimes I think the idea of a reset for me is saying I'm going to start with a clean slate, or the better way I've had it described to me is opening up a new chapter, right? Is that you're going to turn the page on this old chapter and start something new. I did an exercise with my wife where it was one night we were just talking about like all the different roads that we took through our life. And I was born in Sandy, Utah. I went all the way up to middle school. I went there, and my uncle said, hey, you should go to the military school that I went to. And at first I said no. And then I shipped off to a military boarding school. And that was kind of that first like chapter of my life that I was like so used to what my life was this way. And then I went to a military boarding school. And then for 5 years, I had this routine. And I dream about my life that was there, because it's almost like it's somebody different. It's not me. Like I look back and I'm like, that's not the person I was, but I have all these memories of that time, right? And then I moved to California. I went to Cal State Fullerton, and I had this new version of me. It was like a whole nother chapter of who I am. And I think, okay, well, what were these moments, right? Most of them have coincided with big moves where you're forced to tip your whole life upside down and start over. And George, you guys kind of tipped your whole life upside down all at once, right?
Yes.
The fear is, though, that we tip our life upside down, and then there's like elements of that old person that we want to keep, but we don't know if we should keep them or not. And so I would challenge you to think about, am I hitting the reset button, or am I going to turn the page on a new chapter of who you want to be? And sometimes what that takes is changing everything about you. And what ends up rising to the top is what should have stuck around potentially to begin with, right? I think we could dive really deep into this. I love this conversation. Does anybody else have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're not going to
Okay.
change your programming just because you decide you're going to change your programming.
Mhm.
That takes a lot of letting all that stuff arise. You've got to let it up and then you got to let it out. And you can't push it down like, I'm not going to be this person. I'm going to be this person, because you're fighting yourself.
Yeah.
So you can't just decide that. That's my opinion.
Jesse.
That's so true. You can't take yourself and change it drastically. It happens little by little by little over time.
Yeah.
So true.
Or it doesn't, right? Or it doesn't. In like in my case, I think of those moments where I had a completely different road that I took. Whether you call it courage or whether you have I put something into play that I couldn't stop. Like I think back and I say, well, I forced myself to be somebody different. I said, hey, mom, dad, I'll actually go be shipped off to military school. And I didn't think really about like the consequences down the road. I just said, I made that decision and now I got to go figure it out. Right. My wife and I, when we moved to St. George, it was a half-baked plan to go teach English in South America. That's legitimately why we moved to St. George. And this is where I landed. I never made it to South America. Right. But I put this half-baked plan into play without a whole lot of thought into it. And then I figured out how I figured it out as I went. Right. But I did. I tipped everything upside down. Most of us don't want to tip everything upside down, right? I like my job. I like my life right now. So how do I make those changes? And Jesse, you nailed it, is that if I want to really, I love where I'm at and I want to make these incremental changes, we have to decide to make incremental changes and not expect us to tip everything and turn everything upside down.
Well,
That's a good point, Jesse. I appreciate that.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah.
I'm Heidi. Hey, guys. I just like that headshot so much. I had something kind of cool that Paul Hatch shared with me from Allies. He came on the radio with us. Allies is the old corporate alliance organization. And I was so impressed because he shared what I'll share right here with you. They're changing, this is not a pitch for Allies, but they're changing their whole philosophy. And we started talking about it. And this is our context and culture. And so there's a guy named Gerald Jampolsky. He writes a book called Love is Letting Go of Fear. It's my favorite book. And he defines transformation as a change in perspective. George is smiling. I love it, bro. Where are you, George? You have to tell us. So transformation is changing your perspective. And if you look at this, like if you were to take one of those four things only, just one of those, and just change your perspective, your whole life could change. I'm not telling you which one is for you. I like all of them. This comes from the Four Agreements, Miguel Ruiz. And hi, guys. I think it echoes what you're saying, because we're like, transformation. Okay, I'm changing everything. Do you remember, Robert, that guy, John McMonagle, that we talked about? He was he's the number one luxury agent in the world. And he left, he's from Oklahoma. Robert's laughing. This story, guys, is so crazy.
It's almost like, it's like Tiger King's story where you're like, no way is this real.
So the guy's in Oklahoma. Look up John McMonagle, the way it sounds, Monagle. So he's in Oklahoma and he signs up for this HGTV, become a luxury real estate agent contest. And they have all these people come to LA and like audition, and he wins. And when he wins, they take him to LA, and he goes from being a farm boy in Oklahoma. He ditches his accent, like intentionally says, I'm not going to talk like an Oklahoman anymore, which is unfortunate, actually. Goes from being a farm boy, gets really pretty. I mean, as pretty as those luxury agents are, as you know, those men in LA, by the way. And because they're really into being pretty. He changes his entire life. He literally says, I took who I was and I threw it away. And I think by the way, I'm not saying that was great. I actually think it's kind of silly. And I think that we think of transformation as that, right? When transformation is actually just changing your mind a little bit about one thing. And I'm finding that I got 44 years of programming I'm trying to undo right now. And you may just decide, wow, life works perfectly. There's no accidents. Oh, I thought that was just a cliche. Oh, maybe that's true. And as you start to let that little tiny seed grow in your mind, you start to have a completely different experience with all of these shit that's piling up around you all the time, because that's part of being on the planet. And suddenly you feel different. Because you feel different, you act different. Because you feel different and act different, you start attracting different things in your life. And you're like, whoa, all I did is decided that life was working perfectly for me. Whew, sorry, that was long, but I like this discussion.
Jeremy, I just wanted to say that when you change yourself, it's a very uncomfortable thing that you're doing. And we get in these comfort zones. We go, I love my life. I love my house. I love my family. I don't want to change anything. Oh, crap. We just got coronavirus. Now my income's not coming in. I've got to change, right? We all have to change. And it's going to be uncomfortable. The way we do business, the calls we're making, everything is different. And we just have to accept it and change so that we can adapt and move forward. Otherwise, we're going to be left behind.
Yep. Well, and Dave, you're 100% right. And I would wrap my little tirade off with, I'm not telling you I'm good at this. I might be giving a great pitch, but it's just because I'm passionate about trying about this process. And so silly for me has been starting to make my bed. I know everyone talks about making your bed. And then this morning as I was leaving the house, I decided to arrange my shoes on my shelf instead of having them thrown in. Because I realized that little thing is important for who I am, because I tend to run really roughshod, wild, messy. And so, I don't know, I'm figuring it out like you all are.
Hey, well, some of us like to sleep in messy beds, but you made your bed, you sleep in it. So if you don't make your bed, you get what you get, right?
Thanks,
that's where that came from.
Yeah, and thanks guys for contributing to that. Kara dropped a good question in there. What would your life look like if you let go of fear, right? And it's so easy to hey, that's a great tagline. And then you're like, but I really like snakes. I don't like snakes at all. I have no idea why anybody would like snakes. And it makes me scared, right? And at the same time, we just have to question that all the time. Am I in fear? Or is this a rational decision that I'm making? Is it rational or am I in fear, right? And questioning yourself as you go along. Rachel Hollis, the name of one of her books is Girl, Wash Your Face, right? And it lands a lot. And I know if anybody's read that book, it lands on a lot of these same conversations, right? Like get up and choose to have the business objective of being a life by design, right? Design your own life. Choose to create what you want to create and be okay with falling down sometimes. And we're going to struggle through life. Everybody's going to have their challenges. Some challenges look different than others, but we all have it, right? And this mindset, I wasn't surprised that everybody puts mindset training on there. And I think everybody's a little bit scared to have the conversation. At least at KW, I've always felt like I could have this conversation. So I want to encourage that anybody in the room, we got 55 people in training today, reach out to somebody else in there and try to have these conversations. Say, hey, what are you doing? And potentially we need to create a mechanism of somebody to help us get our mindset right? I help you, you help me. I need a mechanism of creating that reprogramming. Sometimes we can't just reprogram it on our own. I'm going to keep moving forward just because I want to respect everybody's time. I had a couple of things that I want to finish. So training, this is great. I love this conversation. It helped because I think it was a valuable conversation to everybody. If you agree, throw it in the chat box. Let me know. The other thing is training aside from mindset. We talked a little bit about understanding technology and command was another one, and lead generation was the third one, right? So those were our top three poll options were mindset training, lead generation, and tech/command training. So I want to encourage everybody that we have 2 tech trainings every single week, Tuesday and Thursday. One's with Katie and one's with Jordan Larson, our regional tech trainer. They're 30 minutes. They're on there to talk about one thing specifically, but if you have something else that you want to jump in and ask about, those are always there, and it's going to be on the training calendar. I have a lot of questions about, well, where's the training calendar now? How do I get it? So we got 2 ways of getting the training calendars to make it easy on everybody to know that they just go to this one place anytime that they need to find it. It's going to be on the Facebook private group, the KW St. George private group. On my emails, there's a button at the top now that says our Facebook private group. So if you don't know if you're in it, click on that button. It'll take you to the page and it'll allow you to ask for entrance into the Facebook group. It'll be there, and it'll also be in the weekly emails. Anytime I send a weekly update email, the training calendar will be there attached as a link every single time, whether I reference it or not. so you can keep going back to that training schedule. It'll pop up as a PDF, and all the links are clickable right there. So you can register for the Zoom, or you can click on the event right there and then add it into your calendar. So if there's something you see there that you want to join into, those are the two ways. I don't want to make it a bunch of different places. I want to make it in 2 reliable places that you can get it every single time. Okay.
Hey, Robert.
Yes, Katie.
Can I add just real quick? You can also find it in your United Agent Services app.
That's right.
There is the education training calendar button that's just right there on your dashboard. You can see it, and you can add certain classes that you really want to plug into. You can add that right to your Google Calendar from the app.
Yep. Katie, will you do me a favor and just do a quick screen capture of how to do that and post it in the Facebook group, is just to see it? I know it'll take probably 10 seconds to show everybody, but just in case anybody has questions on how to do it. So those are the 2 places that we'll have the training calendar for sure every single time, and I can keep updating it. And then the UAS app, there's a lot of power in that UAS app if everybody wants to lean into it. I just don't want to have anybody have to learn something, right? So these 2 things I think everybody can figure out. But 2 tech trainings at a minimum per week that we're offering. Katie, how many people do you have yesterday?
I had 3 people on my training yesterday, and I went over smart plans, and I can't tell you how many questions I get about smart plans and how to utilize that for your business. And I had 3 people on. So,
yeah. So we're in a balance of 2 things. We want you to use systems that are free that we're providing. And we also want you to know the system that you have that's working, right? So if something's broken, let us know. We can help you fix it. If something's working, there's 0 expectations about you having to fix it, right? I had this conversation with Bob yesterday. Bob and I sat down for a one-on-one, and I said, really, man, command at a very minimum is just transaction to close, just putting it in the sales pipeline so we can do compliance and check the contracts, right? If he has systems and things that work for him, he's not in a mode of trying to have to cut his expenses. There's no need for him to go in and dive in any deeper into these trainings. If you need it though, or if you feel like there's a system broken, that's where we can be there to help. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to blow up a system that's working. If you feel like there's another solution that we can provide you to do it, that's where we want to come in. I don't want anybody to feel obligated to have to use systems and tools that we have. Because if you have a system that's working, I do not want to blow that up. I think it's a bad business decision to blow something up that actually works, even if it costs a little bit of money before making yourself have to change something, right? So I want to make sure everybody knows we can get that information out to you. Leslie just texted me about the total market overview. Katie, will you remind me about that later today, about the total market overview?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make sure that
I
we get that market update as well. So I'm going to do 2 things because it's 12:50. Jeremy Larkin has been tracking some market data, and we kind of went in on the mindset a little bit longer than we normally would have. It's a great market update. He's just kind of tracking what the pendings are doing. We've seen a big uptick in pendings, and we're seeing contracts start coming back through in complete correlation with sellers reducing their prices, which is in fact, it's almost identical. Sellers are reducing their prices and everybody's going under contract, which is fascinating to watch, right? It's such a micro image of supply and demand. It's a very simple way of looking at what supply and demand really is. And it's actually a great piece to use with your sellers to say, you want to list your home for X amount of dollars. The market value is here based on what we're seeing. Let me show you some data based off the coronavirus that exposes what happens when sellers don't put their price in the market value, right? And in a quick moment, you can easily see. I'll send out a snapshot of that. I'll send you guys an image to drop that in the Facebook group. But just to keep everybody aware, because we'll be sending these updates and the market update out to everybody as well. But something to keep in mind with your sellers. The price drops are directly related to the number of contracts going under contract, and we've gone up. What was the percentage, Jeremy?
Muted, sorry. Pending sales were back up 22%.
Boom.
And what was kind of cool is, well, hey, 321, there you go, guys. So you can look what happened. What we did is we started on February 9th. So can you see that?
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. So we started on February 9th. So you can see the trend. Like, look at how pending sales were just falling. And then middle of March, not surprising, right? Like, pending sales were way down from the highest month in period in February. But this is what we pointed out this week. Like, oh, now if you will email me, I will share this with you in read only, because I can't have everybody get edit privileges or we could get out of control.
Yeah,
So
I was just gonna I'll just take a snapshot and put it on
Okay.
Facebook group. You don't have to do that, guys. I'll just take a snapshot and throw it on Facebook.
All right. So to me, it's like, and then Robert's right. Price reductions were up 47% and pending sales were up 22%. And that's
and
probably,
if that's not like a direct, that's causal, right? We talk about like, oh, something could be correlated. That's directly causing those pendings to go up. Sellers are getting smart, saying, hey, I don't want to mess around with the number. Daryl's over here being a clown. I don't want to mess around with my price anymore. I'm ready to sell it, and I'm going to price reduce it. Look at him go. He's dancing.
Is he wearing pants? I hope he's wearing pants.
No,
Well,
he's not wearing any pants.
And
okay, so last thing. Okay, we're going to do a quick breakout room on Red Day because I'm losing. Because if I lost Daryl, then it means I'm probably losing everybody else. I'm going to do a quick breakout room. We're going to break out into 3 rooms. Shauna, Julia, and Candace are going to talk about Red Day to your individual little groups so we could get maximum engagement from everybody. And I thought this would be kind of a fun way to re-engage everyone into it. Shauna, Candace, and Julia, will you just wait a second because I'll automatically divide up everybody and then I'll reassign you into the correct room so there's just one of you in each room. Okay, you guys ready? Yep. All right. Whoops. 3 rooms, recreate all rooms. All right, ready, go. Go jump in there, guys. I should be good to go. Shauna?
Robert, I'm in with Julia.
I just invited her out of it, so you should be good to go.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, so we have Red Day coming up on May 14th.
Like to some title companies, and we just really want it to be the whole community that's buying bingo cards. The bingo cards are $20. Our goal is to sell at least 250 of them. We want to.
Yes, we hope that you will do everything. Bingo cards are $20 a piece.
I totally blew that up. I'm sorry, Julia. I had a goofy look on my face.
That's okay.
Keep going. Keep going. Sorry, guys.
Nope. So ticket prices are going to be $20 a piece. My goal is to raise $5,000. Half of that money is going to go back to Candace to help.
You know, just activities that'll be by, you know, the honor system. The other ones will be like, I talked with Elise West at Affogato Coffee. Love her. And, you know, drive through, get a drink through her. And everyone that's going to be working with us, that they'll be wearing red shirts. So it's all about Red Day, Keller Williams painting the entire town. And that's what I want to see happen. And on top of it, we're going to be doing Facebook Live all day. So I've got like Raw Fitness, Bronson. I'm going to go to his gym at 2 o'clock. He's going to give away a 3-week gym membership that includes like workouts and health coach and a fitness coach for 3 weeks, and a guaranteed, you know, lose 10 pounds. And that's just free. But also like on the card, there will be, you know, purchase a 1-day for $15. So any ideas that you guys have or someone that you know that has a need, just please let me know and we'll add them to the list. And we just want to try to help as many people as we can. Anybody's thoughts?
Where does the other 50% go?
The other 50%, so it can be any nonprofit organization, and we're still working on putting that together, but like I don't know if you know, but we have Expedition Global.
Candace, your idea, and we're not guaranteeing that they're going to be on the bingo card, but we are going to see if we could add them with their permission. But like I said, we have a huge amount of people and acts of kindness to do, so it's going to be a great, exciting event that everyone should be able to find one thing that they want to do, if not everything.
Like it.
I do too.
Hey.
Thanks,
Hey
Julie.
guys,
That's a great idea.
I'm gonna have everybody join back into the main group in just a moment.
Hey.
Okay.
Hang tight.
Okay.
Now I understand how weird it is to talk to black boxes. I get, Robert.
You get it?
Yeah.
All
You
these
guys,
black boxes.
you
Yeah.
chicken people. Come on.
I don't know how you do it, Robert. I can't talk to people unless I can see the reaction.
Right?
As long as I'm doing a good job, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm just visualizing all these people are naked and that's why they're not on.
Doing this community event, you can buy cards. They can, you know, they can join, they can do it, they can give money. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a great way to give back. It will go, we're trying to still decide, but we're thinking from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you'll be out doing your thing. You can have, again, your clients join in, family, friends, whoever. We are going to ask
to join us.
No, they can buy them.
They can buy
They
them.
can buy them. Yep.
Okay. And where do they go to buy these? In Facebook on live?
We'll be giving that information out May 4th.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna bring everybody back into the other rooms. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess there's a countdown. I was supposed to do like a countdown and then I just skipped the countdown. So sorry if you guys were all still.
I just got time warped back in. Just.
I did executive power and I just bounced everybody out. It was interesting to see everybody bail off though, because we went from 55 people and they're like, oh no, I don't want to get into a room, and they all jumped off, which I thought was pretty funny. All right, guys, anything else? Anything else anybody have? You sure? All right, I'm gonna leave you guys with my man. It's Earth Day.
What up, world?
Everybody have a good one.
It's your boy, just one of the guys down here. Well, I could be more specific. I'm a human, and just wanted to, you know, for the sake of all of us Earthlings out there, just wanted to say, we love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth. It is our home. We love the Earth. It is our planet. We love the Earth.
You guys don't have to stick around. If you don't want to. Get it, George?